means sulfuric acid rain. It's like Venus really is hell. And so it's so hot on the surface that the sulfuric acid rain doesn't even hit the ground. It radiates so much heat that it evaporates before it hits the ground. It's crazy. Yet it is twice as far from the sun as Mercury. And of course it's much closer to the sun than we are, but not enough. The difference between these two planets, these three planets, is the atmosphere. And furthermore, I hope you realize, that makes Mercury too hot, Mars is too cold, but the Earth, my friend.
Yes.
Science, yes.
Science.
It's Goldilocks, right? We have the dumb luck to live on this perfectly suited world. Perfect for us. And this is what I call part of the joy of discovery. Joy of discovery. Now, I digress for a moment. Imagine me digressing. Digress for a moment and talk briefly about my father. This is a picture of my father. And he called himself Head and Eye Boy Scientist. It's black and white. There's a rock hammer, and these are rocks. If you can't see them, you would be full of rock sand. The world's full of rocks. And my father was quite the rock hammer, quite the amateur geologist for a while.
Woo! Yeah.
If you geology, and you recognize these guys because they walk around like this. And once in a while, they go, oh. The garage is full of rocks. It used to be about 2 tons. That's when the spouse is like, 2 tons of rocks. Really? But he was quite interested in geology. He got interested in science. And he was thrilled, as I hope all of everybody my age was, when this picture came back from the planet Mars. This was in 1976. Right in the middle of the disco era. Right in the disco era. And I was really the first disco era. I know many of you, for some reason, are reliving the disco era. I want you to think carefully. The leisure suits, the music, the hip on your jeans, I mean, that was good. So this picture was taken by the Viking spacecraft, and if you look at this picture, as my father pointed out, Mars is a place. Well, I mean, you guys, remember the planetary, the space generation, it's a very common idea, but in those days it was a revelation. You could go there and walk around, you know, if you were dressed properly. And it's like a camping trip. You want to take food, you know, Kang, I guess. It's also important when you go to Mars, take something to breathe. They don't have anything. Hardly anything. So I was at a meeting at Caltech a year ago November. Caltech, right on. Sitting over in the corner. And there was a meeting of these people who worked on the Voyager spacecraft, on the Viking spacecraft. And I met these guys, and they told me the story again, and if it's not exactly right, it's close. I mean, it was over 30 years ago. It was, this picture was released on a Wednesday, and they were all very proud of it. Went all over the world, New York Times, Papua New Guinea Gazette, or whatever, South African News. It was all everywhere in the world, and then it wasn't until sort of the next morning that they realized that this picture has a fundamental problem. And that is that on Mars, the sky is probably not blue. And the way they told the story was like, what do you mean? No, it's probably not blue, but it's a planet. I know, but it's a different planet. Oh, wow, dude.
impression.
Salmon, tail salmon.
Oh, look at the walls.
Well, eggshell. If you go to like Macy's or someplace where they sell women's stockings, I mean, I don't wear them. I'm a huge fan. But it's sort of the colors in the upper right. Not the dark mocha sunrise or something. And so, to a geologist, this is of great significance because the color of the rocks gives you your first idea of what the rocks are made of. Now, thank you. Far away
Go, Lindsay.
from us, you can see at night that it's vaguely pink, or orange, or salmon, or ecru, or eggshell, or taupe. And you can see it from here because the surface is covered with rust, with iron oxide. So the color of the sky and the color of the rocks are influenced by what's in the sky, and some of it's dust, but a lot of it are these gases. So these are data from the Viking missions. The pressure in the atmosphere on Earth is about 1,013 millibars. On Mars, it's only 7 millibars. It's less than 1%. Now, I'll reassure you all, before you jump out of your chair, I know that millibars is an old unit not to be used anymore. Oh, no. Millibars is from the CGS system, centimeter, gram, second system, but now we are also excited about the
Atmosphere.
MKS, meter, kilogram second. I know. You end up with a factor of 10 to the fifth, 100,000. Doesn't fit in the thousands, millions, billions, trillions. So, the official word now for the same unit is hectopascal. Just rolls right off your tongue. But note well, maybe you guys will change it. I'm thinking, what do you guys think? 7 peps. Maybe.
Oh my God.
But the point is, it ain't much. 7 heps is not very much pressure. And so you can compare the atmospheres of Earth and Mars with this handy chart in the Viking missions. And I would use the pointer. You know the pointer? And I don't know any of your professors, but you go to the class, they got the laser pointer, they do this.
See?
You see right there. So just take my word for it. The top line, carbon dioxide. And on Mars, although the pressure is very low, most of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. 95% is carbon dioxide.
Tickle pink.
On Earth, all that carbon dioxide got locked up in limestone. Mars ended up in the air. And on Earth, in 1976, the concentrated carbon dioxide was 0.03%. And people would say 300 parts per million, same number. But you were all alive. You all lived through this. If you are rounding the percentage of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere to a single digit, it is now 0.04. You lived through the change from about 300 parts per million to about 400 parts per million. 385 is a good average right now. Now, my father, unlike many of us, of course he was fascinated with all this, like any normal person. Unlike many of us, my father spent almost 4 years, 44 months, in Japanese prison camp in World War II. He was on Wake Island and he was captured. They were captured and bombed on December 7th, which to his generation was a much bigger deal than 9/11. And then they were captured on Christmas Eve, 1941. They spent 4 years. The Japanese military confiscated all their watches, all their jewelry, all this stuff. So the story goes that my father became very interested in telling time with shadows. This is the family story handed down to us. So he'd set up a shovel handle, he'd get a tree or something, somebody who would stand really still. And he came back to the States fascinated with